has divided parliament, and even if it does go through, it's not clear if the move would be legal. Now, for more on this, we can speak with Michael Pregent, a fellow at the Hudson Institute and a former intelligence advisor to General David Petraeus. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program. Firstly, I'd like to ask you, of course, we've got a key parliamentary session then taking place today. What do you expect to come out of it? Will it decide to go ahead with this referendum?
Well, I hope the referendum goes forward. And the reason I say that, I used to be a one Iraq guy. I was a one Iraq guy before the ISIS strategy in Iraq post-2014. But I've seen the Iranian takeover of Iraq. So I actually fall down on the side of Kurdish independence. I think the referendum should take place September 25th. Like you said, it is legal for them to hold a referendum. It's something that was in the Constitution 10 years ago that hasn't been put in place yet. I mean, it hasn't been voted on yet. But the thing about the referendum, it doesn't make Kurdistan its own region. Then it just gives them leverage. Right now, they're getting a lot of pressure from the United Nations, from the U.S., from Baghdad not to do it. And I think once they do it, and if it passes with 60%, they'll have more leverage and some minds will be changed.
So then, that being said, do you think that this pressure that they are getting to not hold this referendum, do you think it's fair? You think it should stop?
I think it's absolutely fair that they be pressured not to do it, and it's absolutely fair that they do it, that they actually hold the referendum. Again, it doesn't make it doesn't make Kurdistan an independent region. It just gives them leverage to hold negotiations with Baghdad, and I do believe some minds will change. I find it interesting that the majority of the Western countries that are against Kurdish independence always choose Kurdistan to go to when they actually set up their NGOs. It's a place where Iraqis, when they're worried about security, they go to Kurdistan. I know I sound like an advocate, but it's just a fact. If you go to Erbil, you can meet people from all over Iraq, from Ramadi, from Mosul, from Basra, from Baghdad, because they feel safer there. There's a reason they feel safer there is because it's a region that's aligned with Western values. It's a region that's secure, and it's a region that deserves its vote.
So then, that being said, if Baghdad officials, if they would like to, once again, see this referendum not take place, what do you think they need to do in terms of guarantees or perhaps offerings down the line?
Well, the Kirkuk referendum, Article 140 is still in its special status. It's something that the Kurds have said, hey, listen, an independent Kurdistan doesn't necessarily mean that Kirkuk falls in its sphere of influence. The concerning language that I've heard coming out of Baghdad is that Prime Minister Abedi has been authorized to use whatever means necessary to prevent the vote on the 25th of September. That doesn't sound very democratic. That doesn't sound very constitutional, especially when the referendum is something that the Iraqi constitution says is legal.
Michael Pregent, thank you very much for joining.